think we're live. Are we? I think we're live. Not 100% sure. Let me see. Uh huh. Uh huh. We're live. Hi, everybody. How you doing? I think we're live. Are we? You see? Yes. Okay. Technical difficulties, guys. I think I can hear myself right here. Okay, awesome. All right. Alright, guys. To be honest, today I didn't even want to do a video. I was so tired and so exhausted. I wanted to like just lay down and sleep. But I made a commitment, and I wanted to honor that commitment. And whoever is on the other side of the camera, I just wanted to say that I'm gonna be doing this pretty much every single day. Probably not tomorrow because I'm gonna do other stuff, but Thursday, Friday, and pretty much every day if I can, because I'm doing this for myself, and I'm also doing this to help out, or to help out anybody who needs probably a little bit of a positive conversation, and I just want to engage into conversation and to make sure then we promote healthy debate, and I want to speak my truth, and I want you to speak yours, to just tell me in your comments what do you think, what do you believe, and we go from there. So I just washed my face because I was like so sweating and everything. I just came back from Jiu-Jitsu, from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's something I've been doing for a while. So now, since if you have look at my channel, and you can see a bunch of stuff over there, like from online business to motivational stuff to fitness, nutrition, a little bit of fasting and stuff like that. Maybe spiritual conversation, I don't know, but so it's a potpourri. It has a little bit of everything, yes, and so I've been doing fitness for a long time already, not probably the last 10 years at least, consistent, and I love that. It was fantastic because you feel good, you feel healthy, you're always having a good focus into a good nutrition, into physical activity. But everything started with my ego. Seriously, everything just started with the purpose of looking good, and I felt like I was doing well, and always being trying to have that fitness lifestyle, right? And that fitness lifestyle, I think, is awesome because you have a little bit of time when you are doing things by yourself. You're in the gym. I don't know, unless you're going with a partner, with a friend, then you're like working out together, which is great. I particularly didn't really enjoy that. I enjoyed more being by myself, being alone, working out, listening to music, or listening to some audiobooks, or some positive speakers, mindset, and it was some sort of meditation, and I really really enjoy that. Time with myself. I felt like I needed that, so I love that. So I really didn't want to go and work out with somebody else. And as you probably know, I am originally from Peru, and when I grew up in Peru, you have a bunch of friends and neighborhoods, and everybody knows each other. From if you live in this neighborhood, you know everybody, and you grow up with a lot of kids on the street and playing soccer on the street, and playing with friends, and then you move to another place, but it still is another neighborhood, and all friends, and many of those friends I still have them now. The problem is that I moved to the United States, and of course, and you know, through the distance, now with technology, we get to talk a lot, and it's great. But I still miss my friends. I still miss all those friendships that I nourished when I was there, and now I kind of like don't have them. And even though here in America, you have like great people and very nice people. A lot of people along my journey have been super good to me, awesome to me. uh, I miss that connection with guys, especially with guys, my friends, my brothers, right? And I found that by doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's unbelievable. I started this. I started this. When was it? Like probably like a few months ago. I started at the end of last year, I think, and I was doing it for a while, and then the pandemic situation happened, and of course I had to stop for a second. Okay, so so because I stopped because the pandemic. Of course, jiu-jitsu is a very contact thing. You gotta be like on top. You're on top of each other, like trying to submit one another, and it's very very close. So it's totally against the pandemic lockdowns and stuff, right? So, but what I found with jiu-jitsu is not only the physical activity, it's not only the fantastic confidence that gives you because once you're training in some sort of combat, which is great for men, it's also a brotherhood, and it's an amazing brotherhood. Like I have like friends that you don't know for too long, but there is something about being in the ground trying to kill each other, and then 2 minutes after you're just like hanging each other saying thank you so much. You're like you are making me better. It's amazing, and I recommend that to every single guy actually. Um, they wanted to have that because we as guys we need that connection to other guys. You need your band of brothers. That's what you need in life. So yeah, I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I went today and I was very very tired because it was exhausting. Especially after after 3 months that you haven't done anything, being locked down, and now I was doing that and that was amazing. So I wanted to talk to you about that. I didn't want to do this video, and now I'm doing it. So once sometimes you got to do the thing to get the energy to do the thing. How many times you don't want to go to the gym, you don't want to do this, and once you get going, then you get the energy to it. Just like right now, didn't want to do a video, but I'm like, I made a commitment, so I'm gonna do it, and here I am, and I feel energized. Somehow I feel energized. So wanted to talk to you a couple of things. And as you can see, the title is God. God wants you to speak the truth, and it's funny because sometimes when you uh, think that God is not speaking to you, it's actually God speaking to you all the time, like 24/7. It's crazy. 24/7, God's speaking to you, and the signs are everywhere. The problem is that we don't see the signs or we don't hear his voice because you don't hear like, "Hey, I'm God. I'm telling you this." You don't hear that, right? But God is talking to you all the time, and nowadays there is a lot of people talking about like synchronicities, right? And that's one of the signs. Let's talk about the signs, okay? There's a lot of signs that you can tell that God is talking to you. Probably synchronicities like numbers. If you see numbers all the time, like 1111, or triple numbers 555, 333, 444. Those are numbers that synchronicities. Synchronicities, which means chronos is time, and sync, which means happen at the same time. So things that happen at the same time, and we call it coincidences, right? But those are not coincidences. They're not coincidences in life. So those synchronicities happen all the time in my life. Sometimes I go in the car and it's 3:33. I look at my a receipt and it's 5.55. And some people get caught up into like, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of that? And you don't need to look for the meaning. You just need to know that that's the time where you just realize that there is some force that is speaking to you. And there are many other examples, right? You're driving and you see a butterfly crossing right next to you, a little bird or something that you notice about nature that is like, wow, this is not, God is speaking to you. So Yeah. So today, I have many of those situations when I realized that I saw in my Instagram, I saw a friend of mine that posted something like God is speaking to us, and I was like, oh man, I was just thinking about that, and now God, and then I see this post, and also uh, a few things that we're gonna talk about. But what I wanted to say is that God wants you to speak truth, and God wants you to have courage enough to speak the truth. And like I used to work in a restaurant, and now I'm working in this place, which is a really nice place, and I don't complain. It's a different situation because I work in the morning time now, which is great. Saturdays and Sundays off, and that's fantastic. But it's a learning curve and the whole thing. But sometimes you see certain things that you don't agree with, and the things that I don't agree with is like when you have to say something that is not the truth. Because for me, honesty is one of my values, and you have to be, uh, you have to have courage enough to say your truth. And sometimes, of course, you gotta be smart about it. You're not gonna be like telling the truth to everybody, like like, hey, I don't want to give examples, but you gotta speak your truth. You have to have courage enough to speak that truth, right? Um, I'm super hot. Um, so speaking about that, I was having a conversation recently, and um, my girl said um, that God wants you to speak your truth, and I was like, wow, that was amazing because that was my theme today, right? Speaking my truth, like my values. Like, I don't wanna not to say the truth. So we're gonna talk some truth today, right? Some things that are going on around, that are going on in the world, and we're gonna talk about that. But I hope you guys are alright over there. Uh, I wanted to show you something actually. Speaking about truth, right? Something that I found in the internet, and I heard that right now, actually, China is coming out with a new uh, virus from pigs. It's called G4 or something like that. And a friend of mine sent me this. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, look at this. The Denver Airport mural painted in 1994. Are you crazy? Like this is crazy. This is 1994, and look at everybody. Now you can say that's a coincidence, but I don't think that's a coincidence. They say that these people, this Illuminati or Cabal or whatever you want to call them, they are planning this stuff for a long time, right? So it's funny because once you look into the Denver airport, you can see there is a lot of things, a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird stuff. So what I wanted to say is let's speak truth, right? What's going on in the world? What is going on in this crazy world right now? What is going on, as I told you yesterday, as I was saying yesterday, is a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual war between good and evil, and you gotta decide now where you want to go, what do you want to do, right? So the first thing you gotta do is make sure that you're not deceived. And we talked about yesterday that we have um, some sort of compass, some sort of that tells you your gut, your heart, your mind is telling you no, this is not right, no, this is not right. So you gotta like believe in that and going with that. That's your intuition. And if you start to do your research and look for evidence, you realize that we've been lied, for a long time. Yesterday we talked about Project Mockingbird, which means the CIA is um, infiltrated the media, and of course they tell you a narrative and they tell you what's going on, just like those masks that we just look, where everybody's have to wear a mask now, and everybody has to uh, comply for your own safety, right? So for your own safety, you're in your house, you cannot go out. Now you gotta have to vote by mail, which is highly risky, right? Because those ballots can just get lost or be uh, they can be just fake, right? So once you start doing some research, you realize that we've been lied. Look at look at this. You see the time? We just talked about it. We just talked about it. 11:11. Well, so so ask yourself certain things. You gotta ask yourself certain things. What is going on? Why the CIA infiltrated media? Why nobody can go to Antarctica? That's a big one. Like, why all these countries that are in wars and they are all in conflicts and everything, they all got together and they actually agree that nobody can go to Antarctica. So if you want to take a plane to Antarctica, yes, you're going to tell me, no, I actually can go. Yeah, they're not going to let you just go anywhere in Antarctica. They're going to let you go to this area where it's permitted, right? And they say that actually no flights can pass through Antarctica because they say they don't want to disturb the, I don't know, the fauna, flora, fauna, whatever. But the truth is, like, flights go over Africa and over everywhere, right? So why is it that you cannot go to Antarctica? Why people are hiding over there? Why these countries that don't get along sometimes, they just get along for that? What is going on? There's so many stories and so many truths, so many weird stuff going on right now. So you gotta, like, do your research and find out. Find out. There is a lot of stuff going on. So, did we go to the moon? Yeah, of course. I think we did go to the moon, but what we saw in that moon landing, I don't think that's true. But I think we did go to the moon. So there are many lies and many things. Like, what about 9/11? This 9/11 was an inside job. Ask yourself that. So once you start realizing there are so many conspiracies, and I'm not talking about conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory is a concept that the CIA invented to actually like diminish when people were doing some research about this, right? So conspiracy theorists are like make fun upon, but the truth is many of these conspiracies are actually real. Think about 9/11. Think about all those wars that we've been to, right? We've been in everywhere: Afghanistan, Vietnam, Iraq. What do we win? What do we got from? Like, why so many lives are lost? Why? It's unnecessary. All of that is unnecessary. None of that was a threat through America. Really, none of that. So it's crazy, It's a lot of things going on, and you gotta think for yourself. I think that's the main thing. And when you find out, you gotta speak your truth. You gotta say it, and that's why I'm here right now saying all the stuff, which sounds crazy for a lot of people, but you gotta do your research, and then you decide what to believe, right? So I know I'm just ranting because I didn't prepare anything. I just wanted to come and just say stuff, just talk to you. So before I actually start the live stream, I pray and I say, God, just let me say anything you want me to say. And if somebody just listen to it and something resonate with them, that's just already a victory. It's win, and everybody wins. So, and even if I'm wrong, I win at the end because I realized later, I can look at these videos, or you can change my opinion right now if you make a comment and you say, okay, no, I don't think this and that, and then look into this, and I look, and I'm like, oh wow, you are right, and I'm open for that, but I'm gonna speak my truth, and I'm not gonna be quiet just for being afraid of being ridiculized, and people is gonna be laughing or anything. I don't really care about that because again, I'm alone here in this country, and all my friends are in Peru, so it doesn't matter. So you gotta do your research and start looking for your truth, and if you there is something that is going on right now, that is the spiritual battle, and if you look into that letter that this bishop from the Vatican wrote to Donald Trump, look for that letter, look for what they say, look for what this bishop sent to Donald Trump. It's a big letter, and it's out there, you can see it actually anywhere, and he talks about all this cabal of elite people that actually are pedophiles, and they are evil, and um, they actually uh, worship Satan. If you look, have you seen the pictures of the Vatican? Of the Vatican, the Vatican serpent temple. Have you seen that? Let me show you this. This is. Let me show you. So look at this. This is the Vatican church. One second. You see that? You see that? That's a serpent right there, and the Pope goes right in the middle and gives mass over there. Now, if you think that's not crazy, look at this stuff. That's supposed to be Jesus, and the Pope is right there in the bottom, and the bishops are right there, and that's supposed to be Jesus. I never seen Jesus like that. Have you ever seen something like that? Jesus? Supposedly Jesus is coming out from probably from hell. That more looks like probably the Antichrist. And right there, down below, the Pope. And look at all those demons under behind. And that's the Vatican. How come is that? How come? How come? How is that possible? The Vatican. That's not Jesus. That doesn't look like Jesus at all. Not like what I've learned that Jesus is. Look at that. So when you start looking into this stuff, you're like, what's going on? Do you know that the Vatican, and I'm telling you, I used to be a Catholic. I grew up like a Catholic because all our countries in Latin American countries were invaded by Spain, which Spain is Catholic. So when you start making your research, doing your research, you realize certain things that are going on with the Vatican. Look at the Vatican Museum, right? Full of serpents everywhere. You know that the Vatican had a telescope. The telescope of the Vatican used to be it's called Lucy now. Lucy. But it's actually used to be called Lucifer. How come the Vatican has a telescope called Lucifer? That's just insane to me. So the Vatican has a telescope called Lucifer, has a his church, and I mean his the place where the Pope does the mass is a serpent, and also has some sort of Jesus or some sort of antichrist to me coming out of hell full of demons behind, and the Pope is right there sitting down there, you know. And we know about so many Catholic priests being a pedophile, saying nothing happened to them. Most of them, and for sure, some people went uh, um, to jail, but most of them they were just moved to another place, you know. So once you start realizing that, okay, so we've been lied by the Catholic Church, you know, because they actually adore Satan, you know. So once you realize that, then you realize that there are many other things, you know. The Vatican is the religious part. The London is the money, and Washington is the war, the military. So then you realize that trifecta rules the world, pretty much. We can keep talking about that, but if you know anything about that, you know, please put a comment and just let me know. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't have to put a comment, but put a comment, engage if you want to. But that's just what is going on, and that's what has been going on for a long time. Okay, so all these people, they adore Satan, they adore Moloch, and they don't want you to be close to God. That's what they talk about, the Big Bang. That's why they talk about science all the time. You know, they don't talk about God. If you the only people that talk about God that are Christian that I know so far are conservatives, and they're more on the side of Trump. And I heard Trump talking about God many times. I haven't seen any of these other guys, you know, talking about God or Christian values or Judeo-Christian values. I haven't seen that. I see trying to support everybody. Of course, that's equality. That's great. That's a great ideal, right? But I never seen them talking about God or supporting Christians. I think Christians have been persecuted for hundreds, thousands of years, for a couple thousands of years, you know, at least for hundreds and hundreds of years, right? So this is what's going on right now, and you need to do your research and start looking at what's going on, and realize that what is going on right now is a military operation within the United States to retake the world, to retake the government of the world back, you know, because America is actually the last resort point, like just like that. America is the last resort. Okay, I don't want to talk too much about it. I know it's crazy. So just do your research and make yourself a favor and do your research. And if you're right now in a situation where you have to lie, don't lie. Just speak your truth and get closer to God. And that's what I had to say today. All right. Have a good one, and I'll speak to you probably on Thursday night. Bye bye.